For the past 6 years, I've had the great good fortune to be part of the disaster mapping charity known as Map Action. If you haven't run across this before, we do on-the-ground mapping, GIS, information management services at disasters like Haiti and Pakistan. I said on the ground. On the ground is actually a really good vantage point to see the trickle-down effects of technology and trends like smartphones, online mapping, that sort of thing, how they affect the disaster response, and ultimately the people we're trying to help. Now, all disasters are different. Haiti was especially so, not only from the scale, the size of the destruction, but also the response and the type of response. It was also the same in many respects. Operationally, the same for us. We dropped everything and deployed with the search and rescue teams. We inserted with them in the grass in the airfield of Port-au-Prince. And there began, of course, 9 days of hectic madness. The other thing that was also a similarity was the conditions we met when we got on the ground. Very limited comms, very limited internet, but as a dedicated mapper, basically you do anything you have to do to get the job done. In this case, you take a bit of geocached Google Earth of Port-au-Prince, you run off a big picture of it, thank you, and you give it to the search and rescue teams, who turn it into an interactive map. Interactive doesn't have to be online. You put a pen on paper, that map is suddenly interactive. What they did was draw up zones across Port-au-Prince for all the search and rescue teams. In the meantime, we found a street atlas of Port-au-Prince, scanned it, and started churning out a series of zone-by-zone maps we can hand out to the search and rescue teams. For Haiti and many of these search and rescue teams, Haiti was different because they actually had a map to actually take out in the streets with them. That was something new. Like I said, this goes on for about 8 or 9 days, and we finally got internet and that sort of thing settled. Then reinforcements start to arrive in the form of people, equipment, data. Of course, by this time, people are getting tired, people are nodding off, people are getting sick. Same thing with the equipment. The equipment's getting tired, nodding off, and getting sick as well. For the first time in my life, I saw a printer actually catch fire. I didn't my camera with me at the time. I wish I did. From a data point of view, as Patrick said earlier, the data response was amazing, phenomenal. Of course, the International Charter was triggered, but that was sidestepped a lot by GOI, who put out their imagery very, very soon after the event. And of course, this is eventually channeled through the Google Earth portal. And as also Patrick said before, the online mapping community, it was unprecedented before Haiti. Haiti was the first event we'd seen with significant impact made by the online community. But you have to remember, we are mapping mainly for an offline community on the ground. In the course of the first 3 weeks of the Haiti disaster, we printed and distributed over 5,000 paper maps, and mainly in the form of A3, something nice and portable. Someone can fold up, take with them back to their own tent, or take it in a truck or a helicopter and take along with them. This is a very telling number. But it doesn't matter if you're doing it digitally or online or offline. Everyone in this room, we're still addressing the same problem. We're trying to close this gap between the demand for information and the supply of information after disaster. And there's still a few obstacles in the way, some fundamental problems. That's new. One of them is the lack of technology available on the ground. That figure I gave before of 5,000 paper maps, that should tell you something about the lack of technology available to people or the uptake of technology. When you have something that doesn't require batteries, something that has a very shallow learning curve, and you can reproduce in the thousands, that is preferable and more obtainable than a smartphone or an iPad or anything else. And the other thing that is a fundamental problem is the lack of spatial awareness. Everybody in this room, we are part of a cult. We are the cult of the geographically aware. We are different, we're a bit strange, but we are a cult. We are not like other people. We are a minority in society. We are a minority at a disaster response. Most of the people at disaster response do not think about the spatial context of what they are doing. We still get teams going out, field assessment teams going out in trucks and helicopters without a GPS, or they have a GPS, never turn it on. So they come back and can't even point on the map where they've just been to. It's not they don't appreciate the spatial dimension of things. You bring a map to that very first briefing, and you see the light bulbs go on over people's heads. They get it, and they love it, and you're guaranteed to be working day and night to fulfill their demands for mapping. But we're not there yet. The vast majority are not spatially aware. And so any solution we have to develop has to take this into account. It has to be low-tech, it has to be painless, it has to be automated to take into account these people who are not geographically aware, part of our cult. So we set ourselves a huge task, but it's not insurmountable. We have opportunities like this at this conference to actually set in motion a sea change in how we collect data, gather data, and distribute it at a disaster.